I was eating lunch today and I was thinking about it. When was the last time you just sat down and ate a meal and only focused on the food that you were consuming? You weren't distracted by talking to someone else. You weren't distracted by getting a text message. You just focused on your food. And that's all your attention was on. Because I'll try and start a chore and be like, okay, I need to sweep my floor. While I'm sweeping my floor, I notice I need to fold some clothes. While I'm folding some clothes, I notice I need to refill my water filter. And it goes from one thing to the next to the next. And by the end of it, I feel that I've got nothing done. A lot of people call it ADHD. And it is, because your attention is divided between a bunch of things and you can't stay on a one-track brain. When in reality, you can literally only think about and focus on and do one thing at a time. That's why it's dangerous when you're driving if you get distracted. Anyway, point being, see how my brain's going all over the place right now? You might get prescribed a medication for it. Yet everything else in the world is going to train your brain to do other things. When you're handed an iPad at 5 years old, the way your brain develops looking at these TikToks that only last 15 seconds because you can't concentrate on one thing for longer than that now, it seems. It's no question why we end up that way. Which is why I don't love smartphones. Which is why I have my little flipper phone. Because it takes me about 10 minutes to text my dad, "Hi, how are you?" So I'd rather just pick up the phone and call them and really be present. The goal would be to be fully present in what I'm doing at every moment in time. It's like in baseball, softball, which I just had my first practice yesterday. And I realized the key was to focus on the ball and never take my focus off the ball. And that was so hard because I'd be looking at the ball and I'd be like, oh, she has cute shorts. Oh, look at that bird in the sky. Oh, look, oh my God, ball coming at me. But if I really gained my attention strictly on the ball, I could bat at it better. I could catch it. It was crazy. You have to focus all your attention on the one thing that you're doing in this present moment, whether that's eating, drinking, sleeping, working, meditating. And it seems like advertisements, Instagram, just a lot of the stuff in the world today. You're driving down the road and there's a billboard. It's trying to take your focus off the one thing you're currently doing or being present in. And I have a theory, because the Bible is full of symbolism and it's basically how the brain works. But it also is a story. And so Adam and Eve, in creation, they weren't ashamed or scared until they ate the apple. And the first thing that they say after they ate the apple is that they could hear God walking through the garden. And for some reason that causes a whole extra chain of events afterwards. And I kind of had this thought on it that hearing God caused them shame. And hearing God walking in the garden was a big deal because before that, they knew everything as one. There was no separation. There was no logical brain thinking. Everything was just one. Everything was just happening. And so there's no reason that they would hear God's footsteps outside of themselves because they were one with God in that time. So I think it's kind of crazy that meditation and everything that we take to get back to that place, prayer, of just being one with God, one with the body of Christ, one with the world, is where we have no fear, is where this moment is fulfilling. Why do we save memorabilia and photos and so many things of our history when this moment is enough and what's currently taking place demands your full attention to feel and experience heaven right now and God in this place and whatever you're doing, and love and truth. Because as soon as you start letting thoughts, especially negative ones, come and go, come and go, come and go, and you give them that attention, that's when you lose the present moment. That's when you lose the truth. That's when you lose your life. But not the good life, the one full of distractions and negative thoughts. And so the more that we focus on that baseball coming at us fully, the more we'll experience life fully, as Jesus did. I don't know the story fully, but there is an old Buddhist, Taoist story about a guy who couldn't get his life straight, and he didn't know what to do. And so he went to a spiritual leader and asked him, help me. And the guy had him focus on taking all the water from this bowl and putting it into this cup. And he just had a little saucer to do it. And the goal of the whole practice was for him to be fully focused, not spilling a drop. And at first the guy struggled, but eventually when he literally had full focus, that's when he found his truth and his meaning of life and his patience and love and kindness and goodness and joy and faithfulness and gentleness, because it's all right there in the present moment. And that's just my theory. So I wonder why we fill our houses with memorabilia and think about, oh, I miss my ex-boyfriend, I miss my cat, when the present moment has more than enough for us right now, where we can focus on each breath, where we're being made fresh and new with every passing second. Because it's not actually passing. Time is just this concept that we have placed on our experience on this earth. But if you just forgot about time for a second, there was no 4 o'clock coming up. There was no Friday coming up. Everything would just be happening right here, right now, in the beginning and in the end. As God said, I am. That's an infinite proclamation. And we ourselves are infinite beings. Maybe we don't remember our past lives. Maybe we don't remember hanging out with God in the garden. But we've been there since the beginning, because we are one with God. And to feel that oneness and to experience fully that oneness and that truth is to not hear God's footsteps outside of yourself. Woohoo, baby, I'm crazy.